Good morning. Welcome to our Talks with Anthony. Today we're going to have a insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being. However, in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about school bullying and physical violence, protecting your mental health in challenging environments, right? So I really want to take into consideration that bullying isn't just about just teasing. It's a fear of intimidation. You can feeling trapped in a place where you're supposed to feel safe, whether it's verbal harassment, social exclusion, physical violence, or the impact goes beyond feeling within that moment as it's happening. This is not about being powerless. I want to be able to give you back your power, right? By, stick with me, grow with me. We're going to be able to navigate throughout this video, right? So first segment, we're going to be talking about what bullying really is, understanding the problem. So the definition off rip is repeated harmful behavior. We have, like I said, the physical, verbal, we have social, or even online where it's meant to intimidate, control, or even harm somebody, right? These things have effects, right? So when you do something to somebody, it has an effect, right? So that's why it's important to treat people the way you want to be treated off rip. Also, too, we want to be able to rationalize things because we have family members, the people, society, etc., that are trying to have you, maybe not know how to regulate your emotions accordingly or do things in a more appropriate way. So you may you feel me? Things may just get physical. I understand you want to self-defend yourself, whatever, but we need to be able to control our emotions. We got to be able to know what's going on. We got to be able to navigate in a proactive way so we're able to do things accordingly, right? But we have to be able to understand too, like these things do affect us. And bullying is, like I said, a repeated behavior that is intentionally trying to harm somebody. Let's be real. So move on in regards to forms of school bullying. We have physical, right? So pushing, hitting, damaging belongings, right? We touching people's stuff without their consent, right? We have verbal, so we have name calling someone out their name, insults, threats, social. So we have exclusion, we have rumors, we have the humiliation. We also, like we talk about when it comes to the phones, we do people doing stuff online, you know what I mean? Like just, you know what I mean? Let's get to that. We have the cyberbullying, right? So the online harassment, embarrassing posts. We have chat groups, people talking about you behind your back, sending pictures, doing all the little silly stuff. Let's be real about it, right? These things cause harm, right? So why does it hurt, right? So bullying attacks someone's self-esteem, safety, belonging, and is a crucial part to someone's adolescent emotional development. So in teen years, this is very crucial to be able to have a foundational skills in regards to our self-esteem, self-discovery, like all these type of things are going on in this stage, and it's very crucial to one's development. What bullying isn't, right? So it's not about kids being kids, pause. It's not about someone, you should ignore or you should just tighten up or toughen up about it, right? And it is not your fault. So we got to really recognize like what people are trying to tell you to make it seem like it's just trying to belittle or just kind of discredit your experience. Like, nah, we got to call it for what it is. And this is not appropriate behavior, period. So I want to take in consideration in regards to thinking about, when someone mistreats you, what's the emotion that first kind of arises? Is it fear? Is it anger, sadness, or confusion? What's going on? All right. We got to put a name to it. I really want to take in consideration, the focal point of today is to make sure that you're understanding that your feelings are valid. You know what I mean? I want no one to shut you down. I don't want no one to make you seem as if that you're confused, you're inadequate. No, you're a person. Let's really put a name to your thoughts. Let's really understand how you're feeling, how you're impacted, and figure out ways to improve the situation, right? You are valid and your feelings are too. So next segment, we're going to be talking about how bullying affects your mind and your body. The stress, let's be real about it, right? So there is an emotional impact to this. We have anxiety, we have self-doubt, guilt. We also have the shame. We also have depression. Like these different things and emotions affect us and impact our bodies and our mind. Physical effects, we have headaches, stomach aches, tension, we have sleep problems. This is really affecting someone's psyche, like for real. We have cognitive effects, so difficulty concentrating. How can you, focus in school? How can you, get your homework done? How can you do all these things and you have activity, extracurriculum, you got sports, all these other things that you're doing in your teenage years and you got, you can't concentrate, right? You have fear going to school even. You have overthinking. You have all these things going on because your mind is focusing on these harmful, traumatic experiences rather than doing the stuff academically and doing what you're supposed to be doing in these environments, right? And why does it feel so heavy? I want us to take into consideration that bullying activates the stress response, right? So your brain may feel unsafe. Your body wants to kind of get out of there. Your body's trying to I'm in danger, right? Danger is near, danger is close. What's going on, right? So that's why it feels so heavy. And I also want to say, you are not weak, right? So your reactions are completely normal, right? And we have to be able, like I said, to figure out ways we're able to get the treatment that we need to reduce this feeling and this inappropriate behavior of bullying. All right. A quote I also want to include in this is also going to be, the way you feel isn't overreacting. It's your body asking for safety, right? So when you're feeling anxious and your palms are getting sweaty, you know what I mean? Like your body is telling you like, I don't feel safe, right? So if you're feeling these things, you're feeling inadequate, there's a reason for it. So you're not overreacting. We got to put a name to it. Claim your emotions. Your mind deserves that protection. So moving on to the next segment, protecting your emotional and physical safety. We got to put that in consideration, right? Ain't nobody supposed to be touching you. Ain't nobody supposed to be touching your stuff. Ain't nobody supposed to be thinking that they can, you know what I mean, play with you, you know what I mean? And don't allow no one to play with you. Like that's why it's really good to have that mindfulness, right? Keep yourself calm, keep yourself centered, right? Advocate for yourself, talk to who, and I know they be doing this too, like, oh, don't be snitching, don't be doing that stuff like that too, but real spill, like speak to somebody, right? So you gotta speak to somebody, because ain't nobody finna think that they can get away with touching you, touching your stuff, and just having this crucial bullying behavior. It won't be tolerated, right? And I really want you to have that for yourself. But off rip, like I said, tell a trusted adult, right? We have teachers, counselors, proactive people, right? Find someone that you feel as if that you can have a connection with, or you're able to just, you know what I mean, have that brief conversation with, right? And be honest, right? Like once again, we have family members, we have coaches, people who are able to can intervene. If you feel like you can't speak for yourself, talk to someone else that can do it for you. You heard? AKA, for instance, a lawyer. You feel me? And on a side note, but it's like you see how a lawyer is able to advocate for someone else that's going through a certain dilemma, right? So have someone fight for you, right? Have someone fight for you. Find your support system. Find a trusted adult. You know what I mean? But moving forward on that note is document incidents, right? So you got to be able to write down, dates, times, what happened, who was involved, who was there, right? And this creates a record system, so you're able to have someone support you with tangible evidence in regards to those incidents, right? We also got to take in consideration too is to stay in safer spaces, stick in, the supervised areas, right? Let's be real, be around them cameras, right? So if someone comes up, whatever, it's like, yo, like I was at this location, look at the cameras. I'm not even gonna sit and play with you. I didn't even touch the person. I didn't do nothing to the person. This person came at me, scruffling me up for no reason, pushing my backpack, like, or whatever the situation may have been. Like, you know what I mean? Get around safe areas, walk with friends, stay away from, avoid isolated areas where, it's hard to really, put a story together, or it feels unsafe overall, right? In addition to that as well, I want to be able to include is set boundaries, right? Clear statements. Someone says no, it means no. Someone says stop, they mean stop. Someone says leave me alone, right? Or if I don't want to walk with you, I don't want to walk with you. So you be able to, in these certain situations, set those boundaries, do what's best for you, and make sure they're clear statements. Next is going to be emergency safety, right? So if you feel like you're in physical harm, don't hesitate. You know what I mean? A lot of us out here, we have our phones. Call, a loved one, call the police if you need to. Make sure that like you have your emotional and your emergency safety that is going to be taken as a priority, that's taken serious, right? When you're in physical harm, ain't nobody should be touching you, period. But moving forward, we're going to be talking about that professional support. Like I said, we have school counselors, there's therapists that are in these environments to be able to help us process the trauma, process and rebuild that confidence, right? Like I said, this is a pivotal moment in our life when we're in these teenage years trying to figure ourselves out. We got academics, we have the school, we got colleges, we have, different things going on, and we got to be able to, like I said, really process at this stage and recognize that, like I said, there is professional support. So use it as needed, right? So getting help isn't about snitching, it's about protecting yourself. So do what you gotta do, advocate for yourself, right? You're not alone. So like I said, ask for the support as needed. Next segment, we're gonna be talking about that emotional coping strategies for difficult school days. You know what I mean? We have our days where things is going good, days are going bad, but it's also good to be able to have tools, techniques, and things to be able to help ourselves out, right? So I always advocate for them grounding techniques, right? So breathing techniques, do things that can keep you calm. I know you go into the bathroom, take a little water break, you know what I mean? Or, wash your hands. Hopefully y'all doing that, washing your hands. Like really get into the sensation of like walk with the soap on your hands, or like water. Hopefully it's warm, you kill that bacteria, right? But it's like really just like do things that are gonna help you ground and come back. You know what I mean? You feeling good. There's also a technique of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is sensory. So looking at 5 things that you see, 4 things that you know what I mean, could touch or whatever. It doesn't mean, you know what I mean? But it's like overall just finding things that are gonna be able to help you reduce that anxiety. Next is gonna be affirmations and self-talk. We gotta be able to recognize that this is not my fault. I deserve respect. I am stronger than this moment, and I won't allow anybody to play with me. I have, I have my dignity, you know what I mean? So it's like in a real way, make sure that you are boosting yourself up with positive compassion, positive praise, and, building that self-dialogue in regards to talking to yourself with positive that positive mindset. Next is going to be build, that support network. We have to be able to have, those friends, clubs, online communities, mentors, safe people that we can really be able to cultivate, these environments to really feel seen, feel heard. You know what I mean? Like when you say something, you have a support network. You have people that are giving you, resources and tangible advice to be able to help you out in any situation, right? In a healthy way. Next is going to be healthy outlets, right? So we have to be able to use journaling, right? Writing things down, really put that work in, you know what I mean? Like really writing things down, expressing ourselves, documentation and that aspect as well, as we talked about, right? But other aspects and outlets such as art, music, we have sports, movement can really be able to help release that anxiety, release that stress, and really help us cope in a healthy way. So proactively do things. I don't want you to be stormed up and isolated in your room. You know what I mean? Have your solitude, have your alone time, don't get it twisted, but you really want to do things that are proactive, keep you engaged, keep you going, doing things that are going to be able to help your confidence and help you cope with strategies when you're dealing with difficult school days. You know what I mean? That's why it's really good to have extra curriculum, so you're doing a little bit more, you're helping yourself out. Also, too, finding time for that, rest and that restoration. So sleep, balanced meals to be able to be helping your mind, heal, making sure that you have breaks when your mind feels lots going on, you feel me? So be able to push yourself with that resilience as you're able to, balance things out and get that rest. I really want us to also take in consideration too is what is one thing or one person that, makes you feel safe or supported when you're in school and things are overwhelming. So for those out there, pause a little bit. I want you to think about that, a little reflection. But I really think it's really important for us to get ourselves around people that make us feel grounded, that make us feel good, make us feel safe, make us feel positive, healthy. You know what I mean? Like we get around the right folks so we get the right results. Right? And if you got your answer, you know what I mean? Like stick with those people. Like they make you feel supported, you know what I mean? When things get overwhelming, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's real love right there. Real spill. Next, we're going to be talking about hope and strength, right? So you can get through this. I want to see you have a positive mindset, right? Just because an experience happened to you, don't define you, don't get it twisted, right? But now we have the ability, now we have the resilience, now we have the knowledge of how to move, forward and move through this. So we're going to be talking about healing takes time. I want us to take that in consideration. So recovering from bullying is gradual, right? And that is okay. Everybody's healing process is going to be different, but as long as you're advocating for yourself, as long as you're doing the tools and techniques that are catered for yourself, you have the supports, you have the professionals around you, etc. The healing will do its course. So be compassionate to yourself, be nice to yourself, and it will be okay. Things will get good for you. Next is going to be every step counts. So speak up, like I said, advocate for yourself, staying in safe spaces, proactive spaces, positive spaces, you heard, and practice self-care, and those victories and different things will be able to assist and boost you up over time. So, every step counts, every, whatever you put in is whatever you get. So the little things matter. I really want to take that in consideration. And also too, like I said, I always want to advocate for y'all and take in consideration that you are not alone. I'm going to say it again. You are not alone, right? So many students out there experience bullying, and many of us have overcome it. And I said us because I'm involved into it too. You feel me? I went through this as well, right? And there is a proactive support as well. So I want us to take in consideration millions and millions of other people before you, our time, was going through the same unique experience, because everybody's also is going out there in unique experiences. For instance, right? So I want to take in consideration that, for instance, like there's people out here that are going through very traumatic things at home. They may not have a mom, they may not have a dad, they may not sort of flow up. Everybody's circumstances and home dynamic is different. So they have a lot of this energy and a lot of this baggage, and they're coming and they're projecting it onto you. Some people don't know how to manage their emotions, etc. Not that this is okay. I'm not even saying that. However, these things do happen in a sense. I'm giving you that background because it's like a psychological type of understanding. But I want us to have empathy, but I also want us to have, like I said, the support, the tools, so we're able to know how to navigate through this. But like I said, once again, you're not alone. Next is that you are worth protection. Hello, you matter. You feel me? You deserve to learn, you deserve to grow, you deserve to exist, you deserve to have a voice and exist without that fear, right? Like I said, anybody should be touching you, anybody should be doing all this silly behavior to you, right? You deserve that protection, but you got to be able to advocate for yourself, right? No one knows what you're going through, no one knows what's going on unless you advocate and speak up for yourself. So someone else is, cruelty doesn't define your worth, right? So like I said, these experiences, just because they happen to you doesn't mean they define you, right? You're still strong and you're still able to navigate, like I said, with a positive mindset and recognizing that you are stronger than the hurt, right? The pain, like I said, don't define you, and you can overcome the pain with the tools and things that we discussed today. So I really want us to wrap this video up, make sure you guys understand that you deserve the safety, you deserve the respect, you deserve the peace. I understand that in moments where you feel as if that you're mistreated, even at these environments where they're not even appropriate at school, right? So bullying is not your fault. You're not alone, as mentioned. The support is out there. Make sure that you use the right tools. You have the courage. I know you have it in you. And I really want you guys to be able to protect your mental health and find that your strength is something that you're able to gain back again, right? If you found this video was beneficial, give it a thumbs up, share if possible, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Stay blessed.